started to become, when the Horsemen started doing their run, I think that led a lot of guys to becoming heel fans. Arn to me was kind of the original first tweener for me, because Arn would do cool shit. He was at the Spine Buster, Gourd Buster, and DDT, and his partner would do the dirty shit. Tully would come in. Tully was the one you hated. Arn was kind of cool, because Arn would do badass shit. And the same thing when he teamed with Ole. Nobody liked Ole, especially if you ever met him. If you ever met him, you definitely didn't probably had a bad time. But so Arn was kind of he was the one that kind of got me to really liking some of what would be considered heel work. And
okay, so you liked Arn Tully better than Arn Ole?
Yeah.
See, for me, I'm
the Horseman.
I'm other way. I like Arn Ole because Ole was that bully heel, and it's funny because a lot of people disliked Ole, and I can only say, me and him always got along. And when I say that, it wasn't like we were always talking, because, man, I was just stunning Steve there. I wasn't nobody. But he was always good to me, and he would give me some advice every here and there. So I got to say, that guy, hands-on, treated me real fair. I know he got a bad rap towards the end. They said the business passed him by or whatever. I don't know. But it's just as far as, let me take that out of the equation, just watching them. Like when I go watch those old Rock and Roll Express matches with Arn and Ole, Ole would get in there, he hardly wouldn't bump. And there's one match I'll send you I'll forward it to you. But just that one, Ricky would go out there and he'd work Ole's beak, his nose. That was the only way he could really affect Ole. He did a couple of leg kicks, but he just those beautiful right hands he would throw right at Ole's beak. And then finally, and Ole, I think, had a grudge against working with him for a while because they were smaller guys, but I just like that bully aspect that Ole brought to the ring. And like you said, Arn was the movement guy. If there needed to be a transition or a shift or some pickup in the motion of the match, here comes Arn to call a couple of high spots, pop them, send in the heater, tag in Ole. And with all due respect to Tully was very, very good, but that Arn Ole combination for me was tough to beat.
Yeah, I agree with you, but and go back earlier to what I said about real heels. That was Ole. But today, would Ole be rewarded for that work? Because nobody's going to be buying Ole Anderson merchandise, so the writers are going to think he's not over. He's not going to do catchphrases, so the writers are going to think he's not over. He's not going to be out there bumping for Neville or me or anybody else. So the match ain't going to get no stars in whatever review comes up. So that's why that type of stuff. That's kind of why that's going out of the way. But it was because you hated Ole, and that kind of made you. But you wanted to like the Horsemen, but you hated Ole. But that made Arn and Flair kind of cool, and those were your tweeners.